Good morning, everybody. It's Hubby here with Just About Anything Garage on a very chilly January 15th. And we're starting our next video on Big Bertha. Remember, we were breaking up doing the seal for the axle on the passenger side rear because it was leaking. And we had gotten the tires and all that stuff and jacked up. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start on pulling the hub off so we can get that rear main seal. We had to get some bigger tools because she's pretty big and get everything set up. But let's just review where we are. Here's the hub all off, ready to go. We ordered up the 3.5-inch socket, heavy duty socket that takes the pull those nuts off of the axle to get that started. So we're going to do that. We're going to get us a big bar and put it in there so it won't move, and we'll start taking that off and seeing if we can't get that hub off so we can adjust that seal and look at the brakes. Everything is off. You got the axle under here, and that's the spacer for the wheels. You got the wheels hiding over here, and these suckers are heavy. Let me tell you, these are big and heavy. But anyways, we're ready to fly. We're going to get going on this and see what we can do with that. So let me go ahead and get set up, and we'll jump right into it and see if we can't get that off and get that main seal, and then order the seal and get it on there and look at brakes. All right, so hang on tight and we'll be right with you. All right, so we got the big bar in there to hopefully hold this while we try and turn this off. We're going to use the 3/4-inch hand stuff first, but we might have to resort to the impact driver. We'll see how tight it is. It doesn't look like it has a retaining clip. It looks like it's just torqued out. I understand these are torqued pretty tight, so I may have to put like a huge extension on the end of it if we're going to do it this way. But let's go ahead and start the process here. Oh, nope, that came right off. Look at that. Right off. I like that. Down that much. Okay, one big nut. All right, now let's see what we need here. Slip washer, let's find a screwdriver. Okay, that one looks like it might turn off too. In which case I may need a... Oh yeah. Okay, we may be stuck again. I may need another tool. No, that. Like a flat retaining nut beyond that nut that has spokes on it like that. Let me show you. Be up here. Get some light on the subject. See in there, it's got the whole one. I didn't pick that one out. That does look like it's not a washer, it's screwed on there. Okay. I'd really rather not hit it with a... I mean, we could try it real quick. Stick a... I have a round punch. You can stick a punch in there, tap it with a hammer and see what happens. I don't want to ruin it, so I'll get you back up here on the stand. Grab a punch and a hammer, get you tilted down there. Take this out, feed in anymore. This off, or if we need big washer's going to slide way over there. We got another one in here. It looks like a straight up brush washer. Or is that the bearing? No, the bearing's further back in the housing. So this is, not sure what. Another nut. Looks like a big no. Yes, another nut. Alright. It's the second nut. So we got nut. May have moved that far too soon, huh? Glove back on because the metal's cold. Let's see if this one will break free if it's torqued tighter. May need to bring that bar back. Nope, that one's not torqued tight either. That hub is wobbling like crazy. Okay, before we take that totally off, let's move the pan. Let's get a jack under it, because that sure as heck is going to be heavy. bit. Sorry about the jiggling. Support that up. These are supposed to be torqued to something like, what was it? The new bearings, 400 foot-pounds, 200 foot-pounds with older bearings, reused bearings, I should say, versus new ones. So, I would say they've been into this before. Probably the new brakes. Oh. 13. Yep, now we're in the bearing. Okay. Put a bar behind it. See if it'll move it. First, see if that's enough. Nope, not gonna be. Can't get on it. This for a minute. Let that jack down a little. I got wiggle space. Keep it under there in case it decides to drop. Grab a race here. Pull it out. There we go. There we go. That bearing looks pretty good. A little dirty. We'll clean it up. Let's get a look in there together, huh? Sorry guys, putting my gloves in the way here. Some light on. Yeah, see? then we go to the back bearing's sitting there. So we should be able to wiggle and pull this off without any real problem. Alright, let's see what we can do. Let's get you back up there. Sorry, I got you pointed nowhere. Getting your light off. Alright, point you down. Heavy. There it comes, there it comes. Alright, let's get this jack under it. Help this out a little bit. Soft landing. Wish I had a transmission jack, to be honest with you. Alright, here we go. Oh, mama! Drum looks really clean. Rear seal definitely trashed. Take a look. Roller over here. Wait for a minute. Alright. There you go. Plenty of brake pedal. Look at it. It's not even anywhere halfway to the rivet. So as long as the cylinders aren't leaking, we just need to clean that. It's covered though. That's why it's not stopping well. Yeah, that leak is really. Races look good. Races look good. There's the drum. Drum looks good. No ridges. Came right off. Of course not, because it's been lubricated. The rear seal's got to be replaced. Leaking bad. Alright. So, we got that off. Let's go away and get materials together here. Oops. Trying to turn the light off. There we go. Get materials together. We're going to have to clean this up. So I got to get out a couple cans of brake clean and liberally spray this down and get it clean, and then we'll show you guys what that looks like. We'll get the hub all cleaned up, get the brake drum all cleaned up, we'll get that seal out, see if we can't find the seal, get the seal replaced, get everything back together. And I don't think we need to futz with the other side because it's not leaking, and I suspect the brakes look very similar on that side. So let me go do that, and we'll be back here, maybe show you a little bit of the cleaning, but let me get a little bit of this initial off so we can see better. All right, so we'll be back in just a little bit. All right, time to get the seal out. As you can see, this is the seal right here, this piece right here. This is the back edge of the seal right here. Let's reference the new seal. This is the new seal. Okay, so if we put that in here, the back edge of the seal is this lip right here. So what we're going to try and do is, I've already tried to get under it with my hooks, you know, under like this, and try and pop it up. But that's not being very cooperative there, popping off the edge. So what we're going to try is take my chisel here, and we'll chisel on this lip here. It's kind of rubbery. Looks like it should fit behind this. I don't want to chisel on that part because I don't want to damage anything. So we're going to try and chisel from here and see if we can't knock it in and bend it up a little bit, and then see if we can get underneath it and pop it out of there. Alright? So go ahead and get you on the stand here. Here. Let's see where we're putting you. Nice view. Reference this again. That edge right there. Not that one. This one. And it's plastic. It's that plastic lip. Right here. See the seal turning? See if the hook will get under there. See how it's turning a little. Nope. Slide up and off of that. Yeah, that's the seal. This is the bearing, which I'm going to need to pump that up because I've got some little. Look at it. Bearing out. That's not the whole seal. You gotta be under there because that's the bearing lip trying to come up. So I still have a piece of that seal in there. Let me look at it and we'll come back. I gotta figure out what I'm looking at first. All right, so figure out what we're doing here. Let me be right back. Okay, that is indeed just a piece of the seal that needs to come out. This piece here, the silver piece, is the piece that we needed to pop out. And this seal, the new one, which is now dirty, we're going to clean it up, does go in there, and if you tap, I tapped it lightly with my big 3.5 inch socket here like this, it'll seat. I didn't seat it all the way because I wanted to pop it up, so I'm going to thoroughly clean everything first. But when you tap it in there firmly, it'll seat. And then when you put this back on, it's got a rubber seal on the inside of it, and on the bottom side, if you look, right here, it seals up against that bearing. That should, once in there, and it presses way up. Let's take a look. When it's seated, right, it's gonna press right up into there when it's seated, so it's gonna seal that back portion of it when it does that. So it'll be a tight fit. Let me torque that down. It'll torque into place. This should seal that. So we're gonna go ahead and leave it out. We're gonna clean this up, get it clean again because we got the dirty gunk. We're gonna get all the gunk out of there. Give this a good cleaning. Just waiting for some materials to do the cleaning and it to warm up just a little bit because I want to use the pressure washer on it. It's pretty dirty. And also looks to me just like a point that if you want to remove this bearing and replace the bearing, which I don't, but if you did want to do that, you'd need to pull these bolts. These are the backing bolts for the spindle. The spindle here that goes on it. Remember how we were trying to get it off and it was turning them, and you can see here I got some wear grooves. This is a plate that's part of this right here. So you'd have to pull those bolts out, pull that plate off, because this sits in the way and it appears to be part of this plate. It doesn't pop out or anything. It's tight in there. So you would have to remove that and then you can pull the bearing, because the bearing gets hung up trying to come out on any of these edges. Okay, so it's designed to have to come off if you need to replace that bearing. So yeehaw. I'm glad I'm not replacing the bearing. We're just going to go ahead and get it all good and clean. We're going to go ahead and pop it back in there, get it nice and tight, and then reverse the process, put it on, seal it up. We're obviously going to clean up the brakes too because they're a mess. And see if we can get that leak solved. We got that leak solved, we're good to go. We're going to move on to the next piece. All right, so as soon as I get some materials in the house, I should be here like tomorrow. We'll go and do that cleaning, and I don't know if that Arctic blast is in us yet. We were pretty cold. We were like 11 degrees this morning, so it may have already hit us. I'm hoping so, and it'll move on, and I'll be able to use the pressure washer with the hose. So we'll be back in just a bit. All right, so we're doing the nasty stuff, the cleaning. These are filthy. I mean, really. I mean, you're looking at, that's first pass with a putty knife, some super clean, and a brush. Pretty nasty. This was the back wheel that was on that it was leaking into. I mean, look at that brush. Disgusting. Chock full of stuff. The front wheel wasn't that bad. That one, you know, that one's pretty clean, just kind of rusty, so we'll clean it up and do it. We gotta hit that with some more super clean and get it down. I wanted to use the hose, but my hose is frozen because it's like really cold. We're supposed to go up to 40 today, but that's probably not going to help me. I like to get the pressure washer out if I can, but And here's the hub. Sprayed that with Super Clean. It'll get a brake clean over it, and you know, it's breaking the grease down for me, which is what Super Clean's really good at. Highly recommend it. Nasty too, but we'll get it all cleaned out and ready to go back into service here. We got the rear seal. We'll press that seal in and get this thing back together. We got to do the brakes, of course, too. Oops, I think I lost my light. Yeah, I think it's dying. But they're gonna get brake clean and a brush to them. Get them. Yeah, I just lost the light. Brake clean and a brush to them, and they've got thick pads on them, so we don't have to do anything with them. And the cylinders are fine; they're not leaking. That's all from this rear axle seal. Rear axle. Yeah, rear axle seal. I got it right. Anyways, that's where we're at. We'll show you again once we get a little bit more done with the cleaning and see how it came out. Hang tight. Alright, we managed to get them pressure washed. My hose thawed out enough because we came up to 40 today. I can do it. I did make a little mess inside the tavern here. It's called the Tavern. But it doesn't look like it's a permanent leak. It looks like it just, when it was thawing, pressured past the seals, but it's stopped now. I'll have it off. This is the, of course, the drum. We got it all cleaned out. We're going to bring it inside and make sure the water's dumped out because we're going to get cold here. Wipe it out, blow it out. Make sure that we don't crack or freeze up anything. Here are the wheels. We cleaned up pretty nice. They were disgusting. This one was disgusting, as you saw earlier. Come on, heavy ass wheel. Woo! I'm gonna roll these back in too. Cleaned up pretty well. Yeah, there's a big pile of crap that came out of that one. So, okay, gonna fall on the ground. That'll be fun. So, we got them clean. That brush, we got clean. We used, I had to use my 1800 because when I was hooking up the 2000 there, I blew a seal. Apparently, ice must have got in it or something. When it was cleaning, I didn't wait for the hose to totally clear. So I'm gonna have to pull that apart and see if we can't fix it. But we got the job done, so. I wasn't gonna bring it in here and do this though, because that'll make a mess in here. So we'll do that one with more wire brush and yeah, that'll come off too. And brake clean, and we'll get that one all cleaned and ready to go. So that'll be the next shot of that clean. And then we're ready to put that seal back in. Make sure everything is, we'll put a little grease on the bearings, although these bearings are oiled. They're not greased. So they it's oil from the differential unit that comes up through the tube. That's why you have a seal that oils those. So we will put a little grease on it just for initial startup and stuff. And then we're going to drain that differential. We'll put new stuff in it and make sure our brakes are working, and we should be in really good shape. Have that one done, and we can move to the cylinders for the hydraulic cylinders to go pull them off and have them professionally repacked, because I don't feel like messing with that one. Anyways, that's where we're at, and we'll be back in just a little bit with some more. All right, we're back. Getting ready for some snow and some super cold weather. But what we did do, got everything cleaned out. Let me get out of the way of the light. There we go. And we popped that axle seal in. We put a little silicone on the bottom end of it, tapped it in tight. We're gonna let that all set up and get sticky, so make sure that it's tight and won't come out. And then the pressure, when you go ahead and you torque everything down, seals everything. This is the inside seal on that. There's a rubber seal on the bottom that comes up against this bearing. This bearing won't turn freely right now because we got it pressed in hard, but once it's under load, it will rub against that rubber and seal. So we'll go and we'll do that. We'll let that seal. We'll go ahead and we're going to wipe down again because, you know, the drum's a little rusty. We'll hit it with stuff. It'll clean up once it's, you know, because we washed it. Make sure all the crap's off because we still got stuff sitting here. I just got my supplies, so we'll be able to take care of everything. But we've got it all in. It's all set. Needs to go back on. We'll probably do that tomorrow. Let that sit a whole, yeah, it's halfway through the day now on Saturday, so we'll let it go the rest of the day, get all set up, get this thing all cleaned up. I still got to clean that up. We'll clean that up tomorrow, get everything set. We'll get it back together and give it some spins, get the wheels back on it, set it down, we'll drain the differential, put oil in it, see if that sucker leaks. Actually, we'll probably drain the differential and leave it on. We might lower this side a little bit so it tips in this direction a little bit, so that, you know, 1 notch or so it gives us a little gravity on it, and we'll see if that seal leaks. The seal that was in it, like we said, is a different style seal than this one. To fit in the groove, you can see a lip here to fit in for the seal. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm thinking it'll be fine. All right, so we'll be back as soon as we hit that stage after a nice little snowstorm and some freezing cold weather. All right, it's the next day. Actually, the next morning. It's chilly. What is it? Today's the 19th. Yeah, today's the 19th of January. So my seal is seated in there nice and tight. We put a little silicone, right, little RTV rubber on the back side of it so it would seal. It's not going to come out. So when we go to put it in, we should be in pretty good shape. This is tight. The bearing's tight here. It won't turn for me. That's because we just got it pressed in. Once it gets loaded up on over here, it should be fine. Let me flip this over here real quick. Put you guys on the stand. We'll take a look at it from that side and make sure we don't have anything amiss. Throw on some gloves real quick. That's good and clean. We got to still do the brakes and the shaft here, but we'll do that and come back to you for it. Okay, let's see. Flip this over. Come on. Get a look down in there. Where's my light? Right there. Guys, I'm still charging the light for the camera. We'll go ahead and we'll use this one. Yeah, so here's a bearing in there. Should be fine once we put it in there and load it. Oh, I think I just pushed that. Yep, I just popped that seal out, moving that bearing. Okay, so we'll put that back in there. It's really just designed to hold it in place while we put it up in there so it doesn't pop out, because it's a loose fit versus because it's a different style of the other one. So let me go ahead and fix that now that I just screwed it all up on us. I have to get some more RTV because I used the last of my RTV for that, but duh, Mr. Stupid. Let me fix that and go ahead and clean that and we'll go on from there, but everything should be fine. It'll work just dandy. So we'll be back in just a little bit here. Okay, right back at you. The reason that seal fell out, you can see that I got the light, my halogens on it, is has not set up yet. It's too cold in the shop for the RTV, the RTV to set up. It was still very, very tacky and not dry at all. It wasn't like, you know, how it gets rubbery when you do it. So we'll put a little heat on it with the lamp like this, and we'll let it go ahead and set up. And while it's doing that, I'll go off and clean this sucker. After I let the shop warm up a little bit. It's a little bit chilly in here. And cause it's early in the morning, it's like, you know, 8:20 on a Sunday, on the 19th. And we'll go from there. We'll get that clean, we'll get it back on. We'll drain the differential, we'll fill the differential, we'll make sure that we got no leaks. If we're looking good with that, we'll go ahead and put the wheels on. If not, we'll pull it off, and I might have to find a different, if this doesn't eventually, if it doesn't seal, is find a style that was similar to what was originally in there, but I think we'll be cool. All right, just wanted to let you guys know, and we'll be back when we got some clean action going. All right? All right, so we're out cleaning this thing, and I've hit it with a copious amount of brake clean to break down the initial stuff, and then hit it with the wire brushes here. And of course, as you can see, a full can of brake clean, several towels wiping it down. Now what I've done is I'm soaking it with super clean. I swear by this stuff. Stuff really, really works well on grease. If you want to recondition bearings, drop bearings in there, get the old grease out, and get them turning, and it'll work great for you. But right now we're soaking that down. We're going to give it a good scrubbing again. We got to get the grease out of this pits here, so I'm going to dig in the rivet holes, because I don't want that, you know, coming back out and soiling that. As far as I can tell, the cylinders aren't leaking. This is all from me spraying stuff. So we'll just keep at it here, get it clean. We'll show you the finished product as we get ready to throw this thing back on. Give a quick wipe down with brake clean on the drum and the bearing surfaces, and we're ready to redo it and put it back in. Then we'll drain that differential, put new oil in it. What we'll probably do is then jack it up, take and lower this a notch on the jack stand so it tips a little bit to this side so it runs this way, and we can see if we got that seal working. If the seal leaks, we got to pull it out. We got to pull it all off again. So we'll do that. We'll put the axles back in, seal the axles up, and see what we get. And then we'll go back to the wheels issues and put them back on when we're ready to go. But other than that, we're getting cleaned up here. Prices aren't too bad. This one's got a little bit of gunk on it, but it's behind where it really rides. So I'm going to take like a putty knife to that, because it's just stuck grease stuff. It's not worn or rusted or anything, and we'll get that off. See, it's coming off of my fingernail right there. So we'll do that. We'll get it all set, and we'll come back and we'll show you the results of what we got. So hang in there. All right, so let me bring you guys back in here for a minute. I'm cleaning up the threads area here, and I decided I'd go ahead and I'd fit this just to get in my mind how everything goes back together. Okay, and this is the rear nut that retains the rear axle bearing, right? It goes in there. It's the first one that sits down. It actually is going to retain the whole thing, but it's a double nut set in order to keep. So the way that this works is you put this on, you're sliding, the rear bearing is captured. It's going to just ride in that right there. The front bearing rides right on this section here, and then this comes up. You see it's got a little nub on it. So you see that little nub? Well, that nub locates the thrush washer. The thrush washer's got a notch in it that rides in this groove right here. Well, it will ride in that groove since I got everything lined up. Like this. Where is that? Right there. Let's get it on square. Come on, there we go. And then the nub, you line the nub up right after you torque it, so it locks that thrush washer in place, right? So now the back nut can't move because you got the notch in there, and then you screw on the front keeping nut like this, torque it down to the spec it's supposed to go to. Let's make sure we got it on straight so we don't, because these are fine threads. And they need a bit more cleaning so it'll go on smooth, but it goes on like that. But then the other thing I want to show you is that once this is up, we've got, there we go, tighten that down, torque it to your spec, which I believe for the older bearings is like 200 foot-pounds, and for the new if you put new bearings in, it's like 400. So we're going to go with the old bearings. There's a groove here. Okay, this did not have anything in it when I took it off, so it was missing. So somebody's been in here either to do brakes or something over at one point in time. But I bet you that's supposed to have a snap ring to retain that so it can't back off. So we're going to have to go find a 2.5-inch snap ring for that to finish the job up, so that we can put it in there and snap that shut. So I'm going to do a little exploring. So this is why you clean everything up, so you can see and understand what's going on here. We'll get that assembled correctly. We also scraped off this race right here. I'm going to come back with some green Scotch-Brite and get that so that we have the bearings riding on that. Here's the bearing for it. Everything turns fine on the bearing. And they're oiled. You can see there's old oil in there. We're not going to worry about a little bit of rust. Nothing too big to worry about. Everything turns fine. Everything rides fine. There's not too much play in it or anything. The bearings are fine to use. Let's see. This bearing then fits when it slides in this way right? So the nut thrust is against it, and that thrush washer keeps everything done. So these have big thrush surfaces, so you don't have to have additional thrush washers on it. So that's where we're at with that. So I'm going to go see if I can't find that snap ring. I'm sure I can get it locally. Just a, you know, a 2.5-inch snap ring to stamp in there, and we should be fine. Right, but I want to bring you in and show you that. All right, so we'll be back when we're ready to go. All right, so we're back on Big Bertha. It's been, from your perspective, a mere seconds, but from my perspective, it's been about a week and a half. We had a couple things come up. My assumption that I could get right, because I can't think of it because I want to talk to you about it. The snap ring that goes on the end here to seal off this one. I thought I could get that local, and nope, can't get it local. It's too big. So I've got that on order. It's due either later today or tomorrow. But what we're going to do is we're going to try and get that up and in and torqued down and ready to go. So all we have to do is put the clip ring. The other thing that slowed us down is we had that Arctic blast come through, and it was like -4 in the shop, and the heater wasn't touching it at all. So it's like, okay, we'll let that pass, and then we'll go ahead and do that. But I'm back in. It's a toasty, what, 45 degrees in here now, because we've had the heater running for a couple hours, and we warmed it up. We're supposed to go to 38 today anyways. So let's go ahead and let's pop that in. We'll put the bearing in. We'll get everything torqued down, and for this little segment here, and then we'll go from there. When we get the clipper, we'll clip it. We'll put the axle back in and on. Once we've done that, sealed up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to jack it up. We're going to pull the jack on this side, knock it down a notch or two, put it back down so it tilts a little bit this way. A little bit interesting this morning. Today is the 27th of January. And New England had like a 3.8 centered in Maine earthquake. And I'm leaning up against Big Bertha here, getting ready to think about things. And all of a sudden, why is Big Bertha shaking? Well, we felt it all the way here in Agawam. She shook for about, I don't know, 6 or 7 seconds and then stopped. And everything's been fine since then. But we did have a little bit of an earthquake that we felt here. So a little trivia for you there. So let me get you set up on the stand, the tripod. Get you pointed at there. We'll see if we can do this without... You know, we got that seal in. Let's go ahead and turn the light on so you can see it. Got the seal in there. It's the stuff is finally dried on that, so it's in there pretty good. So I think it'll pop right in with any real big issue, and we'll go ahead and get it taken care of. If I show you nothing in general, getting you set up on the tripod. All right, let's get you over here looking at it. Let's get you a better vantage point. How's that? Sorry for the view of the shop as we come around here. I'll get you behind me like that. Give you a nice view. There you go. For the shop, and I'll probably be in your way, so let's move it off to the side so you can get a nice view of what's going on. There we go. That's better. All right. First things first, let's put on some nasty, dirty gloves. I have a whole set of these, whole bag of these little firm grip mechanics glove. Protect your hands. I'm going to take this bearing, stick it here. That's the front bearing. Screw in the thrush washer. Gotta find the right one because that's the front one. It's got no notch in it. This is the back one. It's got the little notch in it for that. All right, let's see if we can huff that sucker up on there. Pull it over first. Leave out of the way. I wish this was smell-o-vision, because it's got that, oh, nice nasty odor. Oh, I may need some help with this via the jack, because this sucker's heavy. Let's take some paper towel to these gloves. I'm gonna get grease because I'm gonna reach inside the drum, lift it up from the edge to help here. So let's make sure that these are as not scummy as I can get them. Right. Get the super thick grease off so I don't put grease on the drum. And see what we can do here. Not too bad. Okay. Bust a gut time. Lift it. Oh, mama. Okay, you know what we may have to do is put that on the jack. Get that jack over here and see if we can't jack that up a little bit to help us out. Oh yeah, we're gonna do that because that thing is way heavy. All right, so a nice little workout with a, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 pound hub and spoke. Woo! My watch says, got my heart rate as high as 124 beats per minute. It's doing this. Basically what we did is we just took a cut piece of 2x4, put it on the flat on one side, use the ratchet strap to ratchet it up so it would sit flat on the pad part so that we could get it lined up and push it on. And it's pretty lined up right now. So we'll go ahead and slide that up and see if we can't get that thing to seat. Get the other bearing in, get the nuts on. Whew, that was a struggle. Especially for an old guy like me. When I was in my younger days, no problem, but I got a few years on myself here. Let's get that pointing in the right direction. For you guys. All right. I think I'm fundamentally healthy, just old. Woo! All right. See if we can shimmy this baby on. I'm fundamentally over the shoes, so it should just slide right up like that. Get the bearing to seat. I'm gonna push this jack up with it a little bit because it's sliding off the jack. Well, it's kind of off the jack now, so put a little up on it. Get the front end up. Put a little bit more up on it. There we go. A
mama. Take a little pressure off the jack so we can get a little wiggle room. There we go, seating slowly but surely. All right, let's see if that bearing will go in there. Since we're not supporting it anymore, it's primarily on that axle. Get it out of the way. Oh, nope, don't do that. Alright, seal that up. Alright. Lift the nut, bring it in. So we know we're on that race. Seated on that race. Okay. First nut. We want the one with the little nub on it here. Turn a little bit more this way. Get that screwed on. Okay, good. Let's take okay. There. Hub nut. Big old breaker bar. So how we're going to do the torque is, this is an 18-inch breaker bar, okay? So 1.5 feet. I'm 177 pounds. So if I put my weight totally on this, there's 265 foot-pounds of torque. I want it to be torqued at right around 200 to 300. So that'll work out when we do it, and I'll just weight it down to make sure it's tight. Oh, that one doesn't feel good. Okay, let's redo that. Make sure that that's spinning right. Nope, that doesn't feel good. Gotta make sure that this turns on right, because it's fine threaded. Unless it's already seating on that bearing, which it might be. Looks pretty out there, to be honest with you. Might already be seating on that bearing. No, that doesn't. There we go. That's not feeling right. Is it, or is it? Yeah, see, we don't want to screw that on wrong. No, nothing can ever be easy, can it? Ew. Go with that one. Okay, that feels better. There we go. Yeah, that's right now. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, much better. I'm pretty sure we're seating on that bearing. Yep. Okay. Let's put the breaker bar on it and go around. And pull that in. As far as it'll go. Let's swap off to the ratchet for a little bit, huh? Maybe it kind of makes more sense. We'll ratchet it on until we hit the stops, and then we'll hit it with my weight. This is 18 inches too, so. seating it on there. Doesn't look like it's all the way up there yet. You have to pump it, back it off, pump it, back it off. Tap it with a hammer. Yeah, see, that's awfully tight. Let's back it off a little. Completely seated yet. So what we're going to do is let's get this off and out of the way. Find Thor. Where are you, Thor? Buddy? Compadre? Where are you hiding? There you are. And need to make sure that we're seating. I mean, we should be. I mean, it's pressing that seal up against that back bearing is what it is. So we want to make sure that we can get on all the way. The issue that I have is this isn't. Let me show you. What we got going here. If you look. See, this is out to here, but it's not seated behind it, which my gut tells me it probably needs to be seated all the way back into there, and we're not up that far yet. So we may just have to keep torquing and torquing, and hopefully give it a little whack, 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 let it settle in. If you remember, that's how we did the harmonic balancer on the Corvette motor. If you guys watch that, is big nut and screw and washer. And we go until we couldn't tighten it anymore, and tap it, and it slide in a little bit, and tighten it a little bit more. So we're going to use that technique here, where we'll go and we'll tighten it to where we can't, or it feels super tight, and we'll tap the drum around it, you know, hopefully create enough vibrations that it'll shake in on that shoe, because this shoe could be adjusted right out to where it's tight, and it's no longer greasy. So might have to go in and see if I can get, if there's adjusters on the back here, adjuster slots. Have to clean the crap out of it because it's ugly. See if we can find adjuster slots, maybe back off the tension. If not, you may have to pull it off, and I don't want to do that if I can avoid it. All right, let's try that technique and see if we get anywhere with it. Go ahead and pop it on there and see if we can't. Sorry, I got you pointing into outer space here. There we go. Come on, light, go off. Because you're not going to see anything with that anyways. All right, let's try that. Tighten her back up. All right. Continue with that. Tell you when it's seated, but that's what we're doing. So we'll be back when that's seated more. No use watching for 30 minutes while I do that. All right, so let's update. As you can see, we got both nuts on. And I understand why they didn't put the snap ring in, because they didn't. I haven't yet gotten it to pull all the way up that it exposes the snap ring groove. I certainly have it tight, that's for sure. Probably almost 400 foot-pounds of torque on it. Where are we in the back here? You can see that the bar here is all the way up to the edge, but it's not seated back in. Now, I'm not sure how far it's supposed to go, but because it's like this and grooved, it tells me that's still got some space that it needs to move up in there. And I only had to back it off just a little, and I could end up rotating it myself. I'll show you. 2 hands like that. So I think what we're going to do here is let it sit like that for a little while and see if it sets in. Now I'm going to come back and pull off the keeping nut that keeps that thrush washer up tight against the main nut, and then we're going to tighten that main up some more and tap, 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 and type it, and we're just going to keep doing that for a little while to see if we can't get that to seat further and further on, because my intuition tells me I should probably seat back some more. So we're going to go ahead and let this sit for a little while. I've been doing this for about an hour since the last segment, and a series of tightening till I can't get it, backing it off, checking it, nope, hasn't taken up, tightening, and so we may have to do that a little bit more. Everything looks fine in terms of where the bearing is sitting on the race as I look inside it. And they were running it, obviously, without that being all the way up. I'll bet you they did brake work on it, and couldn't get it to seat all the way in. I might crawl underneath it and see if I can't get a peek at that, but the wheels are covering, so I'll have to sneak my fingers up in there and see if we can't feel from behind to see how much space we got. Matter of fact, why don't we just go over there and give that a shot, huh? Let's just crawl underneath this thing right now. Go over there, put her butt on the ground, get in here, the camera, and see how much of a gap we have here. It's got, okay, this one is set now, if they did the brakes on this one too, but it's at least, I don't know if you can see the gap there, but lots of light on it. It's closed more, probably about half of what the current gap over there is. So yeah, we're just gonna keep hammering away at it, pulling on it, push on it, and see if we can't get it to take up some more, and tighten it down. So I will come back to you guys once we've done that a couple hundred times, and let you know how that turned out. All right, so we'll be back in just a little bit. Sit tight. All right, so how about a quick update on where we are? We've been tightening this. It's been about, I don't know, today is the next day since the last recording. And what I did was I tightened it up and I let it sit overnight. Tapped it again and came in, and I got a nice 20 to 30 degree arc out of the handle here to do it. Tapped it some more, got it to go a little bit more, went inside, came back out and get a 20 to 30 degree arc out of it. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm getting it as tight as I can, giving it, oh, I don't know, an hour, and then coming back out. And what's happening is it's, you know, slowly going on there. I get it tight, I tap it, go away, I come back. We are definitely sliding up. The edge of the insert that goes underneath is definitely under the lip now. Hard to see a gap. I need probably, what, to match the other side where we looked, maybe half the distance. So that's probably, what, ½ inch, so 1/4 inch. So we got to keep going until we get about 1/4 inch. The other thing I do is I turn the spokes, and it's turning fine. So it's just a matter of getting it seated correctly and getting everything compressed up the way that it needs to do. But it's going on. It's just taking time. So this will be another day process here probably. Rest of today into the evening, and then maybe a little bit tomorrow, but we should have it up. So that's where we're at. She's tightening up. We got to get it up because when we put the second bolt on, we're not getting enough screw for it to firmly catch, and we can't get to that snap ringlet groove that's in there. So we want to get to that. So we'll just keep going until we got it to where it needs to be. I'm pretty sure they did not tighten it all the way down when they were in here before. My understanding was it was used on a farm to move hay, so it didn't move a lot, but I'm going to use it for vehicles, and I definitely don't want it coming off or breaking the axle. So we'll keep going, and we'll come back when it's fully seated, and I'll let you know what the results are, right? So we'll be back in a little bit. Just hang tight. All right, we're back, and we got them both on, and it took a lot. It's been about 3 days since you saw the previous segment here, because what I had to do is tighten that back bolt up, tap, 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 move this around, tap, 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 and then leave it for 30 minutes to an hour. And then I could come back out and hit it again, and it would move a little more and a little bit more, and that's been taking 3 days to do that. I finally reached a spot here where, for today, I can't get it to move. No matter how big of an extension I use, breaker bar or whatever, to try and get that to tighten any further, it won't. It just won't do it. Even if I sit for 2 hours, it won't do it. So it's almost, I mean, I would say it's 98, 97% of the way up. The way that this works is you have that rear nut presses into the bearing race, right, and pushes everything up. And then you have a thrust washer that's got a groove right here, fits in a groove, and then the back nut has a little nipple on it, and there's holes in the thrust washer. So now it's connected to the thrust washer. The thrust washer won't turn no matter what because it's locked in there, and then this back bolt just makes sure that that thrust washer won't come loose. And there's supposed to be a snap ring right here, and I can just see the groove of the snap ring starting to be exposed, but I cannot get it to move. So we're going to delete the snap ring. I use thread locker, red lock thread washer, so it's not permanent, but it's semi-permanent on there, because all we got to do is stop that rear bolt here from moving from vibration or anything. So the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to let everything dry up. I'm going to come out, I'm going to stick another stud in here because some of the studs came out, and then we're going to get this to move a little bit because it's really, really tight. I can get it to move a little bit, but I want it to spin all the way around in both directions. For that, come back here and we look at the back of the hub where it's stuck up. It's all the way in. It's interfaced into here, probably an 1/8, 16th to an 1/8 of an inch. That one's like got a 1/4 of a gap. This is just at or just under a half here. But you know, the stack up of the tolerances of the new seal and all that type of stuff just is not going to allow it to do that. You can see some of the thread lock really can here. Get that off like that. Sorry about trimming your sideways, but we got it tightened up. So we'll go ahead and we'll do those maneuvers. We'll get the axle sitting right over there. We'll clean up its facing flange. We'll clean up this, put some RTV on it, get it tightened in there. And then we'll, what we're gonna do when we do that is we'll go to the back differential here. We're gonna drain it, get as much as the old as we can out of it. And then what we're gonna do is put brand new fluid in it, differential fluid. I'm not gonna crack the back of it. It's actually a pumpkin, so you'd have to pull it from pumpkin. I'm not doing that. So we'll just crack. There's a little, you can't see it here, but there's a little drain plug right there. We'll see if we can get that drain plug out. We'll fill it up, because I know it had been leaking. It's low. It should be leaking now, right? Because it should be up to level, so it's below. We know it's not. So we'll do that. And then what we'll do is we'll jack it up. We'll take this jack on this side right here, and we'll lower that baby down a notch or two, so it's tilted just a little bit to the side, so that oil will come in. And to get in here, we'll turn the wheels, turn it again, check for leaks, and if we're all good to go, we'll get the tires back on it. And this one is then complete, and we can turn to the hydraulic cylinders, pulling them off and getting them over to the hydraulic guy to do the repacking on them. So that's where we're at. Stay tuned, and we'll bring you in on the next one here. But we got that all tightened up, and we're moving on. Brr, back at it. As you can see from my breath, very cold in the shop. Yeah, we're out here, it's early. And we're just gonna take the next step here. So This is sitting overnight, just to do a quick update. So everything looks good. May have to wait for it to warm up a little bit for that Loctite thread sealant to go up, but everything looks good in there. Was able to turn this around one full turn in both directions, so we're good there. So everything's turning. So the next thing we're going to do is the axle here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to clean that first. I'm going to go ahead and clean it. You don't need to see me clean it off camera. It's just going to be brake clean, a little scrubbing, rinse down, and it's going to be ready to go back in. We'll make sure that the flange is nice and clear. We're going to put just regular RTV on it to seal it. Clean up here. Put RTV, get all the oil and get all the extra. You can see the little shreds of the RTV. We'll come back, show it together. And then, as we said, we're going to jack it up. We're going to lower it. We're going to get it to, well, we'll drain it first. I'll show you that because that may take some technique to get the plug out. We'll see what happens there. And get it filled up with fresh and then let it tilt and see if we got any leaks. If we're good to go, wheels go back on it, and we'll just keep cranking along onto the next section. All right, so sit tight and we'll be back in just a little bit. I'll show you the results of cleaning up this axle, which is nasty. It's got that old oil on it, you know, that old differential smell, the old oil on it. And then, yeah, we're gonna have to do some cleaning up in here because I got a mess. So we'll be back. Hang tight. Okay, we're together. I gotta get a new nut for that. The nut was stripped. Here, I don't know if you can see it, but there's no threads in there. For some reason that one's stripped out. The bolt's fine, threads are fine on it. This is a 1/2 by 20, so we'll get that. You can see it's squishing out all the way around the edges, so we're just gonna leave it like that. We'll go and get a new bolt for that and tighten that up. Slides right in, cleaned up real nice. Just made sure all the scrape was off. Now the only issue here is, I know some of you, and you can even make it in the comments if you want, saying, ooh, big mistake, because if it goes in and it gets into where these conicals are, it might be hard to get the conicals out. You're right, it might be hard. It probably should have had the paper there, but I had the silicone rubber, so we're going to go ahead and use the RTV, and it should be fine. It'll go a little bit, but I think it'll stay mostly around the threads there, and it'll seal up. So we'll get the nut on that, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get the plug out, drain it, put new oil in it, new differential grease, and let it tilt over and see if it leaks. We got our seal here and in the back taken care of. We're good to go. All right, so we'll bring you in when we're ready to do that. So we'll be back in just a little bit. All right, so we're back at it. I've already fumbled underneath here. We're trying to get the plug out, right? So we had to go ahead and get everything set up. So it's a standard 1/2 inch. I'm gonna need an extension with this. It's not very deep though, so I'm hoping we can get this. I'm gonna put you guys down on the ground here, tilt you up. Let me aim from the back. Oh yeah. Let's see if we can't get that loose. Got some gloves. Yes, heater's running, it's chilly. We were warm for a little bit, but now we're back. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. Oh yeah, right, Oh, there it goes. Okay, good. Let's pull this fan over. Make sure. Take my glove off the back so I can pull that up. Hopefully not get covered with nasty oil. We did get a fluid transfer pump. Yeah, see, that's way down. I don't know how much is in there. Oh, keep sticking my heels in the oily mess from the previous job of getting that on. Now let's check and see. Oh, it's just below the plug. Yeah. because it's dripped out through the seal. It's just below the plug when it was leaking. But what we're going to do is, let me get the transfer set up, and we're going to pump most of that out of there and put fresh new stuff in there. I mean, it doesn't look that bad actually. Actually, we might leave that and just add, because it's a little dark. Doesn't smell burned. And when it thins out, it's not terribly. You know what? I think we're just going to add to that. So, hang on while I go get the fresh stuff. We'll pump it in until it starts to leak out, and then we'll be ready to go ahead and tip it to the side down. What we'll do is we'll take these, we'll drop them one notch on this side, jack it up, drop it down one notch, it'll tilt a little that way, and we'll go ahead and see if we got any leaks. We'll turn it around a couple times, make sure that we're not, and if we're not, we're going to put the tires back on and call it good. Put to clear the back of that. That's still nasty, dirty. But otherwise, I think we're not too bad to go. It's not that bad. A little dirty, but not horrible. So we'll just put some fresh in and get it up to level. We'll go from there. So hang tight. We'll be right back with that. We're back at it. And after due consideration, I think I am going to pull the old stuff out. I mean, I got a full gallon. It takes 4 quarts to fill it up, so we might as well get the dirty out. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to try that. We're going to use this little baby here. I've got 2 different types. We're going to try this one first. Pull it out, dump it in the pan, pull it out, dump it in the pan, and we'll see what happens. So let's go ahead and get you set up. See if you guys can see what's happening here. See if this will work for us. Get this. Here, get it down as low as we can get it to go. Oh yeah, there we go. Nice. you get the idea. Let me go off camera, we'll finish this up. All right, so we got about almost a full tube when we were pumping it out. It took 2 or 3 more after I turned the camera off to get it cleared out. But it's cleared out. I stuck my finger in there. There's not much in there, so we did a pretty good job. We're gonna put this in it. It's Valvoline SAE 80W90. It's got all the heavy duty additives in it for the differential, because it's under heavy load. So we're gonna go ahead and pump that in. I got smart with this one. Let's set you guys up. And then I let it sit in front of the heater for a little bit. So hopefully it's a little bit warmed up. The tube's more flexible, that's for sure. Let's see if we can get some of this to, there we go. It'll come up on its own. It's gonna take a little bit. This thick, I'm pumping it in there. We're just gonna pump it till it starts to run out. I'm not sure how full this was. Like I said, we got about a tube out of it. So that's what, maybe a pint. This is a gallon, so the capacity of this rear end is 4 quarts, so a gallon. So we're just gonna keep pumping until we get it out, running out the hole. It's going up in there. Nice clean, then we'll do the tilt and we'll check for leaks. Then wheels will go back on it, and we'll really know when we drive it around if it's going to leak or not, because that seal will wear it. And we may have to go ahead and pull that axle out one more time and do a retightening of it once we get a few miles on it to see how it's going. Pump it in there pretty nice. We'll just keep going. Yeah, rather than time-lapsing you, I'll go away and pump, because you know what I'm doing, and bring you in when we're got this back together. The plug back in it, or when it's running out. Either way, we'll show you. All right, so we'll be back in just a little bit. Running out. See it dripping out of there, pumping it right down out. So we gotta filter up. Put the plug back in. Clean her up a little bit. No leaks so far. Nothing coming out the differential. And at that level, it should be heading down that axle by now. Spin that sucker up. So next, we're going to clean it up. I'm going to wipe it off so it doesn't drip. And then we're going to get the jack back under, jack it up a little bit. We'll put a little tip on it to the right here, so it leans that way, just to make sure that we get a little of the grease down in there and make sure that we don't have a leaking seal. So hang on while I get cleaned up and set up, and we'll come back and jack that baby up and see if we got leaks. All right, so we jacked it up. See the jack's right there. We lowered that down one so it's got a little gap. I'm going to very gently now let it down just a little bit. Very slowly. Get my legs out from underneath it. And hopefully not die in the process. So let's see what happens. Tip this up. Get myself linear here. crawl out from underneath it. Say hello to the bud flap. And check for leaks. Alright. Well, nothing evident here. To do is to give this, I don't know, 15-20 minutes. We'll see if we develop any leaks. We'll turn it around with a pipe a couple times, see if that develops any leaks. If not, we're going to put it back up on the next stanchion again, get it even, and then we'll get the tires back on this baby. We'll let her down, and we've got this one wrapped up. Alright, so we'll be back in just a little bit for see what we got. Alright, not a single leak, nothing. It's been let's sit for about an hour, hour and a half. Nothing leaking, not out of here, not out of the back. There's nothing dripping. I was able to turn this 2 turns in each direction, and it'll move. It does take a lever arm to do it, but that's what the wheels are for, right? But it turns, there's no leak. I've got it back up so it's level now. We're getting ready to do the tires. What I'm trying to do is get all the studs in so we can slide it on and then put those wedge keepers on and put the nuts on it. I was able to get this one right here, the nut off of it. If you remember, I had 3 nuts where the studs came out versus the nuts coming off. And I drove it all the way in. I put a pair of vice grips on it, used my mini inductor right here, heated it up, and got this one to come off. I tried it on the other 2 and they wouldn't do it. They turned around, and so they're sitting here soaking in a mixture of ATF and acetone to try and break things down. And then we'll put them in the vise so we get a better grip, more surface area than just the vice grips, and see if we can't get those nuts to come off. I want to clean everything up and then use the anti-seize on it so that they don't seize up again when we put them on and we tighten them down. So that's where we're at. We should have the wheels on here and this thing wrapped up in the next day. So I'll come back in once we've got these little babies right here coming off, so that we can do this the correct way when we put the wedges on the tires. So that's where we're at. We'll be back in just a minute, so hang tight. Well, I guess that big old oil leak right there answers the question of whether we got that rear seal on that axle fixed. Nope, dripping right out. It's right out the bottom of the thing. So, well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to pop the axle back out and we're going to see if it'll tighten up anymore, because that could be it. I mean, it may not be totally. Remember, we were still a little bit shy there. We couldn't get it going anymore, but maybe things have loosened up, and see if it'll seal. If not, it's got to come out. We may have to find, because this was a different style seal, an original seal for it in order to fix the issue. But we did not fix it after all of that. Fortunately, I think things will come apart a lot easier this time. So, back to the drawing board. As soon as I figure out what's going on, we'll be back. Alright, so we need to think this through for a second here. What we were going to do, what we just talked about, was pulling that axle out and just tightening it up again to see if it'll seal even further for that. But I think what we really need to do is, one, if I do that and it takes care of the problem, I still have an issue because I got oil in it, right? So we need to pull it apart and clean it because it's brakes. So we're going to have to pull the whole thing off. We want to also examine and understand why. It's a slightly different type of seal that was given, right? So here's the seal right here. And on the interior of the seal is where it seals. When it slides up onto that, it's supposed to seal around that hub right there. Now, I put it on dry and I didn't oil anything on the seal surface. So did we rip it when we did it? Did we pull it out? We don't know that. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this all apart again, re-examine, make sure that this seal will work, because if it doesn't, I may have to search really hard to find an original seal for that. And it may just be that it's not torqued tight enough. It isn't up tight enough and it's not sealing on the parts. But we need to understand if that's the case. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to terminate this video here. I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to end the video with our first attempt on this. And then we'll do another video of pulling this off again, looking, examining, analyzing, see if we can't come up with the right solution, and then putting it back on to do it. It's going to go much quicker because I've already done it once, right? So I know what not to do. I know what I need to do in order to accelerate things. So that's what we're going to do. I want to thank you guys for watching. We'll be back with the extension of this to go ahead and get it taken care of. I appreciate you guys if you do all that jazz for me, and stay tuned because we got that repair of the repair coming. All right, so we'll see you shortly in a new video for that. So we'll catch you later, and we appreciate you guys.